What's good, guys? It's your girl Faith, and today we are doing a voiceover type of video. So I know we don't usually do voiceovers. I kind of do them about every 6 months, 5 months. But I thought right now it would be perfect to do a voiceover so that no one has to stare at the screen the whole time. You can listen to this while you're cleaning or you're trying to fall asleep or just relaxing. So today we are going to do a bit of a voiceover of a story I found on Wattpad. So I've been reading a lot over the quarantine, and I found this book by Arctic Stars on Wattpad, the app where people read, called The Worst Fanfic on Wattpad. And I thought it was extremely funny because his or her idea with this book is to take the wackiest ships of two people and to make it into a fanfic. So I'm going to be reading the first installment of the worst fanfic on Wattpad called Donald Trump and John Oliver. So if you don't know who they are, you can just look it up. I'm pretty sure most people know who they are. But John Oliver, I'm pretty sure he's the host of Last Week Tonight, which is a nighttime show, kind of late night hosted show. Anyway, let's get to the story. John Oliver couldn't get this man out of his mind. He was reminded of that face by everything he saw. A melting waxwork, an angry baby, a rotisserie ham. There was just no escaping him. There was no escaping Donald Trump. But then John thought, maybe he didn't want to escape him. He thought he was so dangerous and pushed it aside. Ever since they first met back in the spring of '07, under the twinkling lights of Trump Towers, John Oliver had never been able to shake the memory of that tenacious tycoon. Donald grew on him like it was a mildew, and John was bespoke countryside farmhouse brought for renovation by an ambitious middle-aged couple. It hadn't been long, but it had been something. Now Donald had bought HBO, and everything was unraveling. The very show that John worked for was in the baby fingers of his rival. His obsession, John called his assistant Cletus Murder, popping him on the head briefly into the office. "Your new boss is coming in 5 minutes," Cletus informed him before disappearing. John Oliver took a deep gulp from his cold glass of water and steadied his breath. His hands were shaking like crisp autumn leaves in the breeze of Egerton, his hometown. There was something about Donald that reminded him of home, and also meatloaf. Suddenly, the door opened as the doors were what to do. In stepped Donald. He stood as tall as a 1.88-meter tree, and his melting orange body was escalated in the cocoon of luxurious Trump suit. Everything about him just exuded luxury, decadence, and anger at specific minority subsets. The breath hitched in John's throat just like it had in '07, just like it had the first time. Donald's pale lips curled into the smirk of a fraternity member who had just logged into his Facebook friend's account and made an unintentionally transphobic status. John wanted to tell him. He wanted to tell him so badly. Everything. The Twitter controversy, the Trump bashing segment, the dump hashtag. It hadn't been a call to arms. It had been a cry, no, a beckon, calling Donald to him like a mouth and a magnet designed specifically to attract moths. Everything he had done, it was for Donald. Instead, he said, "Hello." Donald frowned like the sort of suburban mom with an SUV, coupons, and sporting sunglasses who demands to have a word with your manager. He should tell him how he felt. He should confess. That would be almost as unwise as electing Donald for president. "I like your hairpiece," whispered John, rising from the chair, although his legs felt as weak as Donald Trump's entire political campaign. "Thanks," Donald replied with mouth movements of a Star Wars puppet. He wanted him so much, but he couldn't date his boss. He would be fired, and that would be too great a price to pay. The two men stood apart from one another like two lampposts who were also standing apart from one another. They were so close. A static electricity fizzed between their suits. Donald made of silk, John's made of polyester or something. Nice glasses, Donald said with a voice like a gremlin eating an entire unpeeled grapefruit whole. 4 eyes. John's heart leapt at like Trump's approval ratings among the sort of people who used the words like Islamic and thought Mindy Kaling was black. There was just a sort of rich decadence to their chemistry, and my God, what chemistry it was. It was the sort of chemistry that Bill Nye was prone to weep silently about as he stared at something like a sunset or a nice lobster tortellini. Yes, thought John, this felt right. In fact, it was the same sort of chemistry that had drawn to Donald back in the fateful spring of '07. He remembered the way his hands curled around Donald's cocktail sausage-X fingers, gripped in a professional handshake. But there was nothing professional about the way John had been feeling. The spark that had ignited between them was enough, total a hydrogen balloon in a fiery inferno, killing hundreds. Hot. What? Snorted Donald with a coy and sexy laugh like a hairdryer on a really high setting being turned repeatedly on and off. Too scared to say something? John felt a hot flush come over his face. He looked roughly like a '70s newspaper cartoon of literally any politician under the age of 45, both at this moment and just in general. Donald was claiming ownership of his heart like it was Donbeg Golf Club. Yes, he yearned to say. Yes, I want to say something, but I'm too scared. Too scared of the consequences. Say something, you limey, Donald taunted. Retort like you're so fond of doing on American premium cable and satellite television networks. John's mind raced for a decent insult, such as the kind he usually dishes out, like American restaurateur Guy Fieri dishes out carbohydrate-based meals. Frequently. Your hair looks like it houses a small microblade of wasps, John whispers, taking a step closer to his boss, his foe, his desire, his Donald. He knew he was testing Donald. Testing his patience, testing his restraint, testing his limits. Wasp? Asked Donald. Like white Anglo-Saxon Protestants? He shrugged. Okay, sure, fine. No, John said saucily. I mean wasp as in the insects. Donald's eyes grew as wide as they were able, approximately 2 millimeters in height, and he cried, But wasps are half black! And half yellow, John enunciated dangerously. Something he ignited in Donald, something other than flagrant bigotry and a thirst for power. Now, this was a thirst for something quite else. This was a thirst for love. But Donald drew back. Something was stopping him. What's wrong? John whispered. Donald shook his head. He couldn't have done this. You have dark hair. You have a distinct accent. Say it, John said skeptically, folding his arms. Say it out loud. Donald hissed, his voice trembling with apprehension and betrayal. Mexican. I'm not, John said slowly. But honestly, would it be such a problem if I was? John did not really much care for racism. It was like water polo or the 1987 Danish drama film Babette's Feast. He didn't really like it that much. And to be with someone like Donald, someone so primitively bigoted, would be like dating a man who liked water polo or the 1987 Danish drama film Babette's Feast. Inconvenient. But the heart knows not of inconvenience. Donald, John whispered. I don't care if you're a racist much. I don't even care that you want to date your daughter or that your eyes look exactly like your mouth. Wait, what? All I care about, John gushed passionately, is my love for you. It has crippled me as strongly as your policies might have one day cripple America. It has sobered me. It has made me a changed man. So take me, Donald Dumpf. Take me as I am, a man who looks oddly like a stock image photo of a dissatisfied employee at a high street bank. And that was it. John's heart was out there, out for Donald to take or leave as he saw fit, like it was just another business endeavor or wife or something. Trump looked at John and pointed at him with a trembling index finger. Then, with a whisper as subtle as the sound of a caravan full of microwaves and a trash compactor, he whispered the two fateful words, the words that John's soul craved so vigorously. You're hired. The end. Okay, what was that story? I feel very dirty for even saying all that stuff out loud. But I don't know. The person who runs at Arctic Stars on Wattpad, give their stories a try. They are extremely funny and extremely weird at the same time, and I just love them. I love all those stories. And that was very fun to read, too. It was weird but fun at the same time. So, I hope you guys are doing well. Tell me in the comments below what you thought, because that was a ride of a story. And don't forget to like, don't forget to comment below, like I said before, and don't forget to subscribe. That's the little red words below this next to my thumbnail that says subscribe. So why don't you hit that? Hit the notification bell. You get a notification every Sunday when I post and every Wednesday when I post. So keep that in mind, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. I love you for watching, and thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.